What's going on, y'all? Gamers Goon here. Today, this is the Illinois video, not the Final Four video. Final Four video already dropped. If you're interested in going to see kind of my analytical thoughts of going into this game, go check that out. But today, today is the day. Today is the day that I've looked forward to pretty much my whole life. Um, they have made it in my lifetime. The Illini have made it to the Final Four. They've made it to a national championship in my lifetime. They have not won a national championship. However, last go around, I was just a little guy. Don't remember that run at all. And today is the day that you can look back on and see the last 21 years and say, this is all what it's leading up to. UConn, big game, 5 o'clock, big game. Now, I look at this game a few different ways. Right, we've already talked about it. But Illinois fans, I'm here to give you some reassurance as to why I think Illinois will win this game and advance to the national championship, right? If you told me even a few years ago, I would have thought, well, that's still a far-fetched idea, right? Because little old me, when I was growing up, I'd stay to the end of these basketball games. I'd stay to the end of the football games, and just Illinois just never was this good. Some years they were good, some years they weren't that good, but they were never this good. We've had some chances in the last few, like 5-ish years with the basketball team, like the Brad window, right? Started, I think it was in 2018 was when he got the job. There's been a Brad window where the teams obviously had a big turnaround. Not getting to the Final Four, though. Today's the day. And I'm going to go up and down Illinois' roster here and tell you exactly why I think Illinois will win. Keaton Wagler, he's the leader. Enough's been said about him, right? Very few recruiting sites had him as a 4-star. Many of them had him as a 3-star. You know the drill, 150th prospect. You've heard the story by now, right? Keaton Wagler, though, when I look at Keaton Wagler, I'm not even saying this like to echo really what people said pretty much all season. I have zero clue how he wasn't a top at least 50 recruit. It makes no sense. Because Keaton Wagler does every single thing you ask of him. He can get in there and mix it up with the rebounding. He can go in there and he can play make. He's a really good three-point shooter. He's got good handles. At times, it looks like maybe he's a little bit weaker with the ball, but that really hasn't stopped him in any aspect of his college game. Keaton Wagler is probably the best 3-star recruit you can find. I don't know the history of 3-star recruits. I really don't. I don't know that you could even look down the last 20, 30 years and find a 3-star recruit that's been better than Keaton Wagler in year one. Keaton Wagler put together an All-American kind of season as a 3-star kid coming in from Kansas, not guaranteed a starting spot on this Illinois team because Mihailo Petrovic was coming over, and Mihailo Petrovic was very hyped up as, he could be that real playmaker for the Illini. Mihailo Petrovic barely plays. It's not shade at Mihailo Petrovic. That's just showing you how good Keaton Wagler is. So Keaton Wagler, if I had at the end of the day to say the biggest reason why Illinois is here, obviously there's a lot of people that can take credit. There's a lot of people that played important roles, but I think none of them are as big as Keaton Wagler. I really don't. And I think if you win tonight's game against UConn, it's going to be a large part because Keaton Wagler was in the game. Willing to defend, like I said, good playmaker, willing to mix it with the rebounds, doesn't let physical teams get into him as much as I thought maybe he would after watching the first few games of the season, kind of just seeing the slender body type, being like, well, he probably will get pushed around a little bit. He doesn't get pushed around. So Keaton Wagler, that's pretty much the biggest reason why I have a lot of faith in this Illinois team is I just don't think that UConn has a player like a Keaton Wagler on their team. I'm going to be honest with you. UConn's a good team. Don't get me wrong. They have Taurus. They got Alex Caravan. They got Demery. They got Solo Ball. They got good players. Mullins. Do they have a top 10 pick in the draft that is got sky's the limit potential? Do they have that? I don't see that with them. So Keaton Wagler is a big reason as to why I have a lot of faith in this Illinois team. And then another, I mean, I'm going to keep going down the list because I have a lot of faith in all these guys, right? Another big part of it is Andrei Stojakovic off the bench. I've kind of flirted with the idea in my head. Do you put him back in the starting lineup? Do you not? Because Andrei's just playing that good that it's kind of hard to deny Andrei. I don't think you switch things up because I think what you really like to see here is you get first 5-6 minutes out the way. Guess what? Now we got Andrei in the game. You're not slowing down with that second group. That second group where we're getting Andrei, Ben, when we're getting Big Z in there. We're not slowing down. You got a guy that can score 20 in a flash, just attacking the rim, getting fouls, will draw tons of fouls. Go right at Taurus Reed, Andrei. Please foul him out. You got a guy that's going to be very aggressive in looking to find a basket, and Andrei Stojakovic. And I think that's the kind of guy you need off the bench. It's kind of unfortunate for Andrei that it has to come off of the bench, right? Because this is a very good player, a starting caliber player. You don't see very many nearly 14 point per game scorers in college come off the bench, but he's one of them. Second leading scorer on the team, and he comes off the bench, but he adds that scoring kind of punch that you need there. And it makes it difficult for teams to kind of prepare because you weather the first storm of the Illini, and then guess what? Here comes Andrei, he'll beat you different ways than the other guys are going to beat you, right? He kind of plays a different style than Wagler and Merkovich and these guys that kind of do more mismatch hunting and hitting threes and getting in the pick and roll action. Andrei, he'll drive into the lane. He'll go make the defense work for it. So you got a different kind of player there with Andrei. Love how he attacks the basket. Very, very confident in his abilities in this coming game. David Merkovich, I think, I kind of have in my head that he's gone. I think he's going to the NBA. He's been very, very impressive. I don't know where the NBA circles have David Merkovich in terms of where they think he might get picked. But I just cannot see this guy coming back because simply he is too good for the college game. And I know I'm talking about Wagler and Andrei, but you look at David Merkovich, not the fastest guy, but I think he does every single thing you ask of him at a very high level. Can knock down the three ball. He's a good passer. He's probably the best rebounder on the team. Like I said, he can score. He hunts mismatches. He'll get in the pick and roll action. He can ball handle. He kind of is this jumbo forward that can play the point guard at times. That's real appealing for the NBA, in my opinion. I don't know if he'll leave, but David Merkovich just creates so many issues on the other team. I'm very, very excited for him to hopefully return, but I just don't know that he will be back next year. But David Merkovich, somebody that I think really could pose a lot of issues. I think he could really get into Alex Caravan there in this game and back Caravan down. Really seek him out and really just go at Caravan because I think he does have the advantage there. I don't think Caravan would be able to stick on him defensively. I think Merk is stronger, and I think we're in for some Merk madness here tonight. So I'm looking forward to seeing what David Merkovich can do against UConn. Then you got the team leader, Kylan. This is going to sound crazy. Kylan, when he got hurt, might have been the best thing to happen to Illinois because that unleashed Keaton Wagler. But you get Kylan back, and this dude has been everything that you would want in a leader, right? He's somebody that is willing to step to the side when Keaton Wagler is having his big moments. He's somebody that's willing to play off ball and let Keaton Wagler run the show. This is the most selfless man in America, if you ask me. Kylan Boswell could easily have came into this season and been like, I know I can get 15 points in a game. I'm the point guard of this team. That is what it is. I'm gonna be the guy here because I'm capable of being the guy here. You have a guy who's really bought in defensively in Kylan Boswell. You have a guy that's really bought in as kind of at times being not even their third option, sometimes even further down the list, 4 or 5 option. But you have a guy here in Kylan Boswell that's bought into his role. Like I said, he can be the leader of this team in terms of scoring, but he's really just been a very selfless leader and said, you know what? I'll let Keaton do that, and I'll work on the little things. I'll work on guarding solo ball from one end of the court all the way to the other, and I'm going to make solo ball worn down by the time it gets to crunch time here in the second half. So Kylan, he's somebody that really has been impressive to me. You had him stick on Kingston Flemings for a while. You had him stuck to Bennett Sturts for a while, and I do think Andre probably did a better job on Bennett Sturts than Kylan. But you have somebody here in Kylan that is never somebody that I think does things wrong. I don't think you can see very many things Kylan Boswell does wrong in any given basketball game. You might be able to pick one or two here or there, maybe a bad step back three. You'll get that from everybody. But Kylan just really makes the right decisions. He's always all over everybody. He's not going to make it easy for him defensively. So I'm very excited to see what round 2 of Kylan Boswell versus Solo Ball versus Silas Demery, who Silas Demery right now is playing a little injured, by the way. So you don't really know what kind of version you're going to see out of him. But Kylan Boswell, he's going to make their life an absolute nightmare. Then you got Big T, Tommy. Tommy's been kind of a roller coaster this year. I don't think we really gotten that trademark Tommy game where he goes down and is hitting threes left and right and getting rebounds. You've kind of gotten small little flashes of it here and there. But this tournament run from Tommy, the last couple games, I got to give him credit. He's very, very solid in these games. He was somebody coming into the tournament I was a little bit concerned about because, like I said, he's kind of had a down year. But since starting the tournament, before the tournament, the last time he went 4 games without getting double digits. 3 out of the 4 games in the tournament, he has double digits. One was against Houston. He had 9 points. Not a bad game there for Tommy. He's doing all the things right? He's contesting shots. He's playing solid defense. He's been rebounding. He rebounded well against VCU. His rebound numbers have never been outstanding, but he's fighting for rebounds, doing things the right way. And that's something that at times this year I don't know that you got out of Tommy, because I think Tommy at times was probably in his head, right? Because he started the season off away from the team. He had some personal stuff going on with his health and kind of slow to get into the start of it. And we've seen flashes of Tommy. We haven't seen last year's Tommy yet. I think that's probably a good sign for Illinois, right? You look at the last few games and you're starting to get a more consistent Tommy. If you get a Tommy game where Tommy goes out there and knocks 3 or 4 threes down, that's icing on the cake. That's something you haven't had. Imagine if they can get Tommy going, right? So Tommy, I think he could be a big impact player here. I think he's somebody that hasn't necessarily got his feet underneath him yet, but once he does, could be a big factor to Illinois winning this game. Then you got Big Z. I love Big Z. I've been saying this from the get-go. I love Big Z. I like that he blocks shots. I think he has like 73 blocks on the season. Everything that comes in the paint, he tries to swat at. It's a curse and sometimes it's a blessing, right? Like, he'll foul because he's going to try to swat at everything. And then he'll have a swat where he swats it back to half court. Kylan Boswell picks the ball up and gets an easy layup, right? You live and die by his rim contest. And I think you're going to need a good game out of Big Z in this one. You got Taurus Reed, obviously, in there. Taurus Reed kind of known to foul a lot, so Can you get him in some danger? Tarris Reed will probably try to back you down. Can Big Z maybe take a charge? That's something that I don't know that I've seen out of him, but can he do that? You're going to have to contest Tarris. You have some guys here in Solo Ball and Silas Demery who can get to the hoop. Do you stop them? You need to make UConn shoot jumpers in this game. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that's how you win is you make them shoot jumpers. I don't trust their shooting. You look at Mullins and Caravan. They haven't had the most efficient shooting days. But I think really when I'm looking at it, I think really you're going to need some good interior defense, and you're going to need to force shots from outside either the arc or at least outside the paint. And I think Big Z is a big contributor to why you would shoot those shots, right? Because you don't want to test Big Z if he's swatting everything early on in the game. So hopefully Big Z has a good day. He's somebody that I think could also play a big role into the Illini winning. I think he does pose a unique issue. For a team right now that's best players Tarris Reed. Tarris Reed's not going to shoot very many jumpers. He's going to get most of his work down in the paint. He's going to try to get you in the post. If you can stay straight up and not foul and either block a couple shots and kind of throw Tarris Reed off his game, I think really you have a good chance of winning this one. So Big Z, unique problem here for UConn to adjust to. I just really am excited to see what Big Z and Tommy can do in this game. Because they got a big task. Tarris Reed, one of the best players in America. Then you got Ben-Hugh Rickhouse. Ben-Hugh Rickhouse is somebody that, I'm going to be honest, it's taken me a while to become a Ben fan. But Ben's been doing everything right. He's done everything right. There's been times where we need a big shot. Ben comes off a screen, hits a three, easy. Ben attacks the rebounds. He plays solid defense. He's not a great defender, but he's a capable defender, if that makes sense. He's somebody that you could put on probably not like an Alex Caravan for a whole game, but you could play spurts against a Caravan, right? You might match him up against one of the bench guys there, because he'll probably get around 20, 25 minutes, somewhere in that range. But he's somebody that I think in small spurts can guard Caravan. I don't know that you necessarily want Ben chasing Caravan around all game because Caravan will be very active off of the ball. But I just really think Ben-Hugh Rickhouse has bought into his role. And you look at a guy here that, once again, one of the older players on this team could have been like, hey, I should be a starter on this team. Doesn't have that kind of mentality to him. He just comes in, does what's asked. Go defend this guy. Go get rebounds. We're struggling at rebounds. Go crash the boards. We need a big three. Go hit it. Just somebody that's been a spark plug off the bench for us for most of, if not all of the season. And then the last guy we'll get into is going to be Jake Davis. Jake Davis, I'm going to be honest with you. This is partially why I kind of have this this internal conflict in my head of, do you start Andre? We haven't seen a Jake Davis game in the tournament. We haven't. Jake Davis, if you can get Jake Davis hitting threes, woo-wee! Well, we have a problem in Indianapolis for UConn. Dan Hurley, I don't know that you're going into the game thinking, hey, Illinois could get 15, 18 points out of Jake Davis. But if you can get Jake Davis rolling, that's going to be an issue. That's going to be an issue for UConn. Jake Davis hasn't been really a big scorer. He comes in there. He's been a decent defender at times. At times, not so much, right? You're probably going to have him on like a Silas Demery or somebody like that. It's gonna pose a unique issue here. I don't know exactly what you're gonna see with Jake Davis. I think really you need Jake Davis to start hitting big shots. But once again, he's another guy that does everything for the team, right? He'll go on the ground for the loose ball. He's a guy that will run around like Caravan, but he hasn't been hitting shots at the moment, which, to be fair, neither is Caravan, right? But you need a Jake Davis kind of game here where he gets back in rhythm. Like I said with Big T, right? Tommy, we really haven't felt like we got a Tommy game for most of the season. He's starting to get a little bit more consistent. We've had Jake Davis games this season, but he's kind of been in a little bit of a slump himself. We need to get him over that hurdle and get him going again. Because if you can get Jake Davis going again, just like Big T, I think that's icing on the top, right? Because right now you're winning games against Houston and you're not getting too much from Tommy. You're not getting too much from Jake Davis. You beat Houston by 10. If you can beat Houston by 10, I think if you can get Jake Davis and Tommy going in this game and you get the same production you did out of the other ones, you can beat UConn by 15. I don't see the issue with why you couldn't do that. And for a while, a lot of people were talking. They were like, "Hey, yeah, this Houston team should be a number 1 overall seed." Not the number 1 overall seed, but a 1 seed. They should be a 1 seed. And then there's been a narrative here since Illinois has been on their run, and yes, they ran into Penn, and yes, they ran into VCU, and yes, they ran into Iowa, right? There's been this narrative that Illinois hasn't played anybody, which I'll give you credit. Illinois hasn't played the best path to the Final Four. However, not too long ago, we were talking about Houston. Let me get my charger here. But not too long ago, we were talking about Houston being the best number 2 seed in the tournament. And then that narrative flipped. Oh, it was just not a great offensive Houston. We really just weren't right on Houston. They weren't as physical as teams in the past at Houston. You can't switch the narrative. They were the best 2 seed in the country. Illinois got a chance at another one. They got UConn. We'll see how that one goes. But all I can tell you is tonight, primetime viewing, you got to be there or you got to be square. We are watching Illinois take down UConn tonight. I'm calling my shot. Illinois 72, UConn 68. Give me the Illini. ILL. Put I down in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and let me know who you think the X factor of the game is. I'm going to go with Tommy. I think Tommy is going to be the X factor. You got to get to Taurus Reed early, and I think the Illini are going to be able to do that. So let me know down below who you think the X factor is, and give me an I down in the comments. ILL.